I am Nobuhle Khumalo. I am 58 years old. In 1994, I lived in the same building where 14 people died in 6 nights. Everyone called it a building. My sister called it a list. She was dead 1 year before the killings started. I did not know then that she had written the list. I did not know that for 30 years. This is what she wrote. This is what I did not say while she was alive. This is what I could not say while he was alive. My sister's name was Thandai. She went ahead of me. Thandai was 1 year older than me. When our mother died in 1978, Thandai became the one who brushed my hair. She became the one who walked me to school through streets that did not want us. I was 7. She was 8. She carried me for 12 years before she ever asked me to carry her. We moved into Section J in 1988. It was a building like any other in Soweto. 5 floors. Concrete. Thin walls. You heard what your neighbors did. You also learned what not to hear. In 1988, women in Soweto did not report things. The police were the ones you feared most. Under apartheid, a black woman with a complaint was a black woman with a problem. That did not change in 1994 when Mandela became president. It changed slowly. It changed for some. It did not change in our building. In our building, the respected men stayed respected. The hurt women stayed quiet. In April of 1991, I was 25. I was a primary school teacher. Mr. Mbeki lived in 4A. He was 51. He ran the community watch. Everyone trusted him. I will not describe what he did to me that night. I have described it enough times in my own head. I will say only this. Afterward, I walked home along a street I had walked 1,000 times. It did not look the same. Nothing has looked the same since. I went to the police station the next morning. I filed a report. The officer who took my statement wrote slowly. He asked me if I had been drinking. He asked me what I was wearing. 2 weeks later, the case was dismissed. Insufficient evidence. Mr. Mbeki continued to live in 4A. I continued to live in 4B. I passed him on the stairs. He greeted me kindly. I told no one for 3 months. Then I told Thandai. She did not cry. She did not speak for a long time. Then she said, "I will make this right." Somehow. I thought she meant she would talk to me. She did not mean that. She meant something else. I did not know her well enough to hear it. From the summer of 91 to the winter of 93, my sister was in our apartment but she was not with me. She left early. She came back late. She carried a notebook she did not let me open. She visited women in the building I did not know she knew. Mrs. Ndlovu from 2C. The young wife in 3A whose husband had once come home bleeding from something she could not explain. The quiet woman in 5B who stopped going to church. Thandai sat with them. She wrote things down. I thought she was grieving what had happened to me in her own way. I was wrong. In December of 93, Thandai took her own life. She was 28. I will not describe how. The apartment was very quiet for a very long time afterward. I was 27. I believed she had chosen to leave me. The notebook was gone from the apartment. I thought she had destroyed it. I thought she had taken everything I had given her with her when she went. In August of 1994, a small woman arrived in our building. She said her name was Namsa. She said she was a cousin of someone in 3B. There was no cousin in 3B. I knew this. I had taught both daughters of the 3B family. I told no one. The other residents welcomed Namsa as if she had always lived there. I could not look at her. Something in her face was too close to something I had stopped looking for. On the first night, Mr. Mbeki was found in his bed. Heart failure, the doctor said. Foray was quiet for the first time in 3 years. I should have felt relief. What I felt was worse. I felt understood. In the 6 nights that followed, 13 more men died. I knew many of them by what they had done. Mr. Zulu, whose wife had bruises we pretended not to see. The man in 5C who had been alone with a neighbor's daughter too often. The 2 brothers in 1B whom 3 women in our building had warned each other about. My sister had known. My sister had written their names. My sister had given her list to someone who knew how to read it. 14 names. My sister had kept a list of 14 names. On Sunday morning, the police came. They arrested 37 residents. Among them was Samuel Dlamini, the building caretaker. From my window, I watched them put him into the van. I could have spoken. I was one of 3 women in Soweto who had a dismissed case against Mr. Mbeki. If the 3 of us came forward, the police would understand what had happened in this building. Samuel Dlamini would be released. But if I spoke, they would ask where the pattern came from. They would find the women my sister had visited. They would find the old woman from 3B. They would find my sister's notebook. My sister's choice would be unburied and photographed and filed. I could not let them do that to her. I said nothing. 3 days later, the detective died. Then others. The charges were dropped. Samuel was released without my help. Someone else freed him. I continued to live in 4B. In September of 1994, MMA Sithole came to my door. I had seen her once before. I had seen her leaving my sister's room the night before my sister died. I had not known her name then. I had not asked. She was an elderly traditional healer. She sat at my kitchen table. She took a small envelope from inside her dress. She said, I kept this for 10 months because she asked me to. I am giving it to you now because the men who needed to die have died. She left. I opened the envelope. My sister's handwriting was steady. The letter was 1 page. She had listed 14 names, each with 1 line beside it. What he did. To whom. When. At the bottom of the page, she had written this. Nobuhle. I could not save you while I was alive. Let me save you after. I have given this list to someone who can read it. You will know when. Do not grieve me. Grieve him. And the last line, small, at the very bottom. I did not leave you. I went ahead. I did not burn the letter. I put it in the drawer where our mother's wedding photograph was kept. I kept it there for 30 years. I did not read it again. I could not. For 30 years, I was angry at my sister for leaving me. I could not read her letter because to read it was to accept her gift. To accept her gift was to agree that what she did was not only a loss. It was also a choice. And I was not ready to let go of the loss. I was not ready to let her be anything other than the sister who had left me too early. Last year, I turned 58. Thandai would have been 59. I took the letter out of the drawer. I read it for the first time since 1994. I understood, finally, what she had meant by the last line. She did not leave me. She went ahead of me. Ahead of me into the only place where she could still protect me. She did not save my body while she was alive. She could not. The world we lived in did not let her. What she did instead was buy me 30 years. She bought me the right to stand in a room in 2024 and say his name out loud. So I will say it now. His name was Sifo Mbeki. He lived in 4A of Section J from 1987 to 1994. In April of 1991, he assaulted me. He assaulted 2 other women I know of. I could not say his name for 30 years. I am saying it now. My sister's name was Nobuhle Khumalo. She is the reason I can say his.